check that for Venezuela. I was looking at the New Zealand uniforms. We'll look at the New Zealand defense. Thomas Inoka in left field. Campbell Inoka is in center, replacing injured older brother Ben. Callan Campaign is in right. Tyrone Bartorillo leads the tournament in home runs with 6 and is playing third base today. Cole Evans at short. Nathan Nukunuku, the team captain, is at second base. And, of course, big, bad Brad Rona is at first. Zane Van Lys out behind the plate. And Nick Hayes gets the call on the mound in this very big game today, Jason.
Yeah, it sure is. And Nick Hayes getting the call. The defensive lineup for the Black Sox is identical to the team that played Japan in the rain-suspended game from last night. So they haven't changed their fielding lineup, just obviously the ace in the middle. And Josh Pettit and Nick Hayes are very close to each other as far as standard is concerned. I think Nick maybe has the slight edge as far as that is concerned. But the interesting fact here is Venezuela haven't been tested by good pitching yet, and they're coming into this game to face world-class pitching, whereas New Zealand have just come off playing Japan against world-class pitching. I would think New Zealand might have the leg up at the beginning of the game, but Venezuela, I'm sure, will catch up throughout the match.
And New Zealand's second game of the day, Chopper Venezuela's first, although a run-ahead rule victory for New Zealand this morning. I don't suspect that should play too much of a factor here in this evening's game.
No, not at all. These guys are ready to play. They come all the way here for this sole purpose to play in this World Cup event, and they'll play 10 games a day if they have to.
So Nick Hayes gets set to start in front of a big crowd for a non-Canada game. In fact, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, non-Canada crowd we've had.
Yeah, I think the reason for that, this is a rematch from the gold medal match at the World Cup in 2013 between New Zealand and Venezuela. New Zealand being victorious that day, so this is going to be a great feature match.
Fouled away sharply to the left side, 1-1 count on Herwins Corrales, the leadoff batter for Team Venezuela.
Yeah, Corrales, left-handed hitter here. His job is to get on base and see him swinging away freely, a little bit different to your standard left-handed leading-off hitter.
Rips it right past Bartorillo, and Corrales rounds first, takes a big turn, and he'll pull back. And I don't care how good your reflexes are, if you're Tyrone Bartorillo, you're not getting that one.
Yeah, that was a hot shot straight past Bartorillo there. No chance to get that one at all. However, from Venezuela's side of things, great to get their leadoff batter on, not showing any signs of facing weaker pitches here.
That brings up the number 2 batter, Iran Paez. He plays third base for Venezuela. This is their first big test. Of course, the other big bopper in this Pool B is Japan, and Venezuela forfeited their opening game to Japan due to travel issues caused by some border problems. Paez shows bunt, swings through, strike one.
Like what I see from Venezuela there, the standard play here is to put the ball on the deck, and they chose to pull it back and try and drive it past the infield from New Zealand in that situation.
Rona and Bartorillo are communicating. Runner goes, bunt is popped up, and it's going to be an easy 1-4 double play. And the Black Sox catch a little bit of a break there on the pop-up bunt with the runner in motion.
Yeah, Huenis there not looking up, just doing a blind steal there, not paying attention to what was happening. You would think the first base coach would have helped him out in that situation. Obviously, not watching there, popped up bunt, and quite an easy double play.
So with 2 out, Yeter Chirinos is the batter. And Chirinos drives this to the right center field gap. It's back, it's gone. Yeter Chirinos with a 2-out solo shot off Nick Hayes, 1-0 Venezuela.
Venezuela have come out swinging here, being aggressive. First pitch swinging against Nick Hayes, picking that drop ball on the outside, going with it, and putting a deep charge into that one. and getting Venezuela on the board in a hurry here in the first innings.
And how big is that double play right now, Chopper, when it very easily could be 2-0 for Team Venezuela? Time is called. They're going to appeal first base.
Make sure he got all the bases on the way around.
That brings up the catcher, Rafael Flores. And he can put a charge into one if you give him the right pitch as well. Team Japan moves to 4-1 as they have just defeated Great Britain on diamond number 2. So Japan alone in second place in the division right now.
Not the bat here, Flores. I believe he's the spark in this Venezuelan team. But he brings a big bat. He's the catcher for their team. He directs the defensive side of things. And if you haven't seen him play before, he's exciting to watch.
Flores has played an awful lot in North America, so these conditions and the opponents are no new news to him. Reaches out to keep it alive with a foul ball, but an excellent effort from Zane Van Lyshout. And there are 3 down, but the solo home run by Yeder Chirinos has Team Venezuela ahead after the top half of the first inning. New Zealand coming up.
This event would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors, including our premier sponsor, Pepsi. Pepsi, the Yukon's choice. And the 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship is funded in part by the government of Yukon.
Getting set for the bottom of the first inning. And before running through the New Zealand lineup, who do we got behind the plate and around in the third team jerseys today?
Yeah, the third team on the diamond, the blue squad. We've got behind the dish from Australia, Lee Evans. At first base from Puerto Rico, William Lopez. Second base from Japan, Nobuhiro Endo, and Gary Scriven from Canada at third base. We've got Carlos Falcone running the clock all the way from Venezuela.
Leading off for the Black Sox is Cole Evans. Nathan Nukanuku bats second. Thomas Inoka bats third. Then the power, Brad Rona, Wayne Laulu, 4-5. Callan Campaign bats sixth. The leading home run hitter in the tournament, Tyrone Bartorillo, batting seventh. How's that for depth? Zane Van Lieshout is the eighth batter, and Campbell Inoka bats ninth. They are facing Eric Urbanea, the crafty left-hander, on the mound for Venezuela. 2 straight balls to start for Cole Evans. Behind Urbanea, Carlos Carreño in left, Erwin Corrales in center, Edwin Linares in right field, Iran Paez at third, Yeder Chirinos at short, Jorge Lima is at second, John Zambrano at first base, Rafael Flores flashing the signs for Team Venezuela. And early, it's a 3-0 count to Cole Evans.
Yeah, Urbaneja's got to find the strike zone here. It's real important for a pitcher early on in the game to establish the strike zone. Hopefully, a nice low strike zone. And Urbaneja, he is crafty. He's going to throw a lot of change-ups. So let's see how he goes here.
Whoa, there is that change-up, and you called it, Chopper, full count.
Very deceptive, his change-up. His hands hidden behind his hip, so very hard to pick up.
He throws it again, and that only means one thing. He trusts that changeup, and Flores trusts it as well.
Yeah, it's really important. If you've got a pitcher who can throw the changeup at any count, That is quite difficult. If you can unbalance the Black Sox hitters, which I guess is their strategy for today, that could pay dividends for Urbaneja here. And Cole Evans on the other side did enough to just get some bat on the ball, but he was caught out front.
Well, the Black Sox are used to guys like this. Heine Shannon, the same type of pitcher as Urbaneja. Evans drills it into center. Corrales can't come up with it. He manages to keep it in front of him, because if that got by, Evans might have scored.
But fine bit of hitting from Cole Evans, but that fielding effort from the center fielder from Venezuela, Corrales, was unreal. Keeping that ball in front on a diving play, that's huge. And for Venezuela, they couldn't get a better start of this ball game.
I thought that had bounced past him, somehow managed to get a chest on the ball. That brings up Nathan Nukunuku, who had quite a morning against Japan.
You know, just a couple of home runs and 5 RBIs, but let's see if he's got some more power left in the bat.
I didn't check the board, but I'm assuming he was the ballpark broadcasting player of the game.
Uh-huh.
Big jump from Evans. Ball is inside on a drop. And again, Urbaneja has fallen behind. 2 balls, no strikes.
Be quite interesting here, though. New Zealand don't play with any egos. Even though Nathan Nukunuku is red hot right now, they won't be adverse to maybe dropping a short ball down.
Ground ball to second base. Lima is going to tag the runner on to first for the double play. 4-3. And one good double play. Or excuse me, they're going to call him safe.
Yeah, evading the tag there was Evans with a slide around the tag. As you saw there, New Zealand weren't afraid to put the short ball in play. And like I said, there are no egos. Nathan Nukunuku hit 2 home runs today for 5 RBIs. And they're all about the team. And Cole Evans using all of his frame there to slide around the tag and get himself safe into second base. And right there, the Japanese umpire, Nobuhiro Endo, making the call.
They're going to get together on this. Lima is standing next to what he contends is Cole Evans' foot mark, which is well out of the baseline. I thought he had tagged him with the free hand anyhow, so I'm not sure how Endo saw that develop in front of him. But right now, the runner at second is safe. Nukunuku retired on a fielder's choice. We'll see if that changes.
Chris, you know, those plays are always hard to call as an umpire because you're caught in 2 things here. One, the fielder is not allowed to run in the way, the base runner is not allowed to run in the way of the fielder. He has to make sure he gets out of his way. So there is normally a little bit more leeway in that running alley that you normally have. So that'll be one of the things he maybe took into consideration, and everything's a bang-bang play. But lucky for us, we've got the world's best umpires here at the world's best men's fast pitch tournament.
Absolutely, and they've gotten most calls right this week. So while head coach Luis Russo was out pleading his case, now they're going to call him out. Is that what's going on here? Okay, I guess Cole Evans is out. No, he's not. He's going back to second base. Somebody tell me what's going on.
Yeah, the play stands. There's just a bit of confusion there. And remember, Japanese, English, maybe there's a bit of confusion between that and Spanish for Venezuelan. So anyway, play stands. He's at second base now with 1 out. And
Thomas Inoka at the plate. They're going to try and pick off Evans at second on the first play. Nothing doing there. Be interesting to see how Venezuela react now to the disappointment of that, in their mind, a missed call or a break for New Zealand, however you want to call it.
I'll tell you what's more important here to me. The way that Venezuela have started this game is right on point. They are not afraid to make a play, throwing that ball behind the runner there.
Oh, and now Inoka. Check. They called Evans on an early leadoff from second base. So that'll be no pitch on the play, and Evans is called on an early leadoff by Nobuhiro Endo, who has now made enemies with both benches early in this game.
Yeah, and saying that, you know, like we said, the world-class umpire, and he sees him leaving early. It's his job to call him out, and umpire Endo from Japan got the right call there, and he left early, so he's out.
So that's no pitch. 1 ball, no strikes to Thomas Inoka. 2 down. Drop ball is on the inner half of the plate for a strike. Anoka's been hitting well this season in the lead up to this tournament. Hence why he's batting third in the lineup for the Black Sox.
Yeah, Anoka with 7 RBIs so far. He would love to pick himself up here and get on the base pass for Big Bad Brad Rona and the waiting on deck.
That's going to be outside. Flores tries to bring it back over the plate. Anoka just shakes his head. Not a chance. This one is fisted out over the infield, and Corrales won't get there. 2-out single, Thomas Anoka.
Yeah, Anoka doing exactly what's needed there. Just punch it up the middle, get on base, and allow the engine room of this New Zealand Black Sox lineup to come up and stamp their authority.
Well, Brad Rona, a player who at one point was left off the Black Sox roster in the last 12 months, is now their cleanup hitter, and why not? He has been outstanding through his entire career, and the last 12 months have been no different.
Yeah, Brad Rona comes into this tournament tying the record for the most appearances at a World Cup for a New Zealand player at 6, with Nathan Nukunuku also this week. He actually, yeah, right, he hasn't played for 2 years, not since Saskatoon. We lost New Zealand lost the World Cup to Canada. So back in black now, though.
That drop ball is inside off the plate. Rona has been one of the most feared hitters in the world for the best part of the last 15 years, matching that number on his back. Just missed that one. Sends it back towards Diamond 2, where there's no game on right now. But the Dominican Republic and the United States are set to get going there in about 45 minutes in another big game. That one's in Pool A.
You'd expect Urban Hardy mixing the change up here, try and offset Rona's power.
Drop ball outside, snap down, they got him! Flores picks Thomas Anoka off first base.
Flores showing his skill and ability there and just sheer determination and not be afraid of any situation. That's the second throw he's made now in this ball game behind the runner, and I tell you what, that's going to shorten the lead from the Black Sox players from here on out.
You said that Rafael Flores is the engine that makes this Venezuelan team tick. You're right. We'll be back right after this.
Regular flights to Calgary, Edmonton, Kelowna, Ottawa, and Yellowknife. Visit flyairnorth.com to book all of your travel. Leading off for the visiting team of Venezuela, wearing number 12 is the left fielder, Carlos Carreno.
Carlos Carreno leads off the top half of the second inning for Venezuela, who lead after one on a Yeder Chirinos home run to right center field as the rain starts to fall for the first time here today. The sun had come out for the first time about 20 minutes ago, and now we've got a light rain. Not much in the forecast, so I suspect this to be just a passing shower, or at least, Chopper, I hope that's all it is. First pitch from Hayes is a drop ball called strike on the outer half.
Yeah, we had quite a lot of rain yesterday. As we know, the games got suspended last night and it rained through the night, but they've got an amazing ground crew here at Whitehorse, and they've got these fields back into an immaculate, impeccable condition.
Second pitch, this is a drop ball inside, but it's off the plate. 1-1 count now to Carreno. And now Nick Hayes is going to get a pitching lesson from Gary Skirvin. And they're saying, we'll give you a little bit off the back foot, Chopper, but not as much as he's taken.
That's a sign of a very good umpire there to come in and have a quick word about it and make sure that we're on the same page out there. And, you know, the umpires aren't there to be seen all the time. They're just about directing traffic, and I like umpires who do that.
It's near impossible for a pitcher to balance on that pitcher's board that's about, 3 or 4 inches wide. So they do give them a little bit of room on the back foot, but certainly not allowed to rock back as the rules had been in the past. That drop ball is just a little bit high. Carreño with a 2-1 count. They're going back outside. And that paints the corner, Nick Hayes. 2-2.
Yeah, it's good that Hayes just stays within himself, and we found out the other day when we saw him play that a couple of innings he was unsettled, then he settled right back in, which was a really good thing, and we would hope that Hayes can continue that composure here on the mound for New Zealand.
Snaps a rise ball up and in on Carreño, who he might have felt was leaning a little bit. So that one will be in the back of the mind of Carlos Carreño as he approaches this full count pitch. Just out. Ball 4.
Yeah, nice bit of hitting there by Carreño, just being patient. That's the best thing to do in that situation. If you can bring the strike zone and make it smaller for the rest of your teammates, you're going to get a lot better hits in this ball game. So good batting from Venezuela.
Designated player, Luigi Pinto. Another big, strong right-handed bat. And as we talked about yesterday, how about those kicks that he's got on?
Yeah, they can pimp him all right.
Rise ball up and out. Carreño does have some speed at first base. There they are there. Looks like rainbow ice cream or something.
Well, you know what? It matches their personality. You know, Venezuela come with a lot of flair. They play with a lot of passion. You'll see that in this match, and you saw it with the call that went against them earlier on in the first innings there, that they will play with their heart on their sleeve 90% of the time.
Snap down, Van Leesch out. Rona applies the tag. Carreño gets back in safe. 2-0 count. Nobody out, runner on first. I don't suspect you'll see Luigi Pinto bunting, but hey, anything at all here. Drop ball inner half. Pinto thought it was low. Strike one call by Lee Evans from Australia.
Yeah, the Venezuela team, their offense is power. However, they've started this ball game with a few things I hadn't seen from them before, especially when it comes to the defensive side. So I wouldn't be surprised they bring out something different and maybe try the short ball now and then.
That pitch was outside. Hayes feeling like he might be getting squeezed a bit. From our vantage point, that looked to be off the plate. Goes right back out there, and this time it's a strike.
There you can see that flair there, even a ball that's marginally in or out. The Venezuelan hitters are not happy straight away and have their way of protesting, but as long as they can stay locked in, then they'll have a better at-bat.
3-2 count. Carreño's on the move. Strike him out, and safe. That was close at second base. Called third strike on Luigi Pinto. Stolen base for Carreño as he must have slid just under the tag.
Yeah, Nick Hayes settling down there to get the strikeout, and a great throw from Van Leesch out and a bang play. But as we said before, umpire Endo from Japan's an international level umpire. He's the best that can be out there. He's the closest to the action. He sees it safe, and we got to go with him.
So that'll bring up the second baseman, Jorge Lima. Has some good pop for a middle infielder, not your typical slash and dash type middle guy. Batting in the 7-hole here this evening. Takes ball one high. Evans tried to sneak in behind Carreño at second. Lima, by his reaction, you can tell he knows he just missed sending that one a long way. Sometimes, Chopper, you can just hear it off the bat.
Yeah, well, this matchup is really, really tight here because Hayes is a power pitcher that concentrates on a drop ball. And Venezuela, they come from a baseball background, so anything goes down in the zone, that's the honey spot for them. I would think they would struggle with the lifter more, and maybe when they introduce that into their defensive pattern for New Zealand, they might find a little bit more success.
And another drop ball. That last pitch was in off the plate. Lima ahead in the count 2-1. Chop foul on the left side, but an illegal pitch called by William Lopez over at first base. So that will send Carreño to third on the illegal pitch. And we'll add a ball to the count. So 3-1.
Yeah, the third team out there, the Blue Crew, getting quite involved in this game over the first two innings. And good to see Mark Sorensen, the head coach from New Zealand, coming out here just to settle things down. And you can only control what you can control and leave the rest of it to everyone else. And that's exactly what he'll be saying to them out there right now.
Well, Sorensen's first going to stop and talk to William Lopez to see if it's the same issue that he had been warned about by Skirvin. Because if you'll remember, Gary Skirvin came over from third base earlier in the inning to talk to Hayes about his contact with the slab. Sorensen's seen it all before. He's not going to let his guys get rattled.
Yeah. We've got a truly international umpire crew out there today. Australia, Puerto Rico, Japan, Canada, and Venezuela. So we're covering the globe, so you can only get the best in that situation.
So it's 3-1 to Lima. Carreño walked, stole second, and has advanced to third on an illegal pitch.
Big part of the ball game right here. Venezuela up by one already. A 3-1 count advantage to the Venezuelan hitter with a runner on three.
Lima chops this foul. Bartorillo was all over it anyhow. 46 is not a number you see on many guys in many sports. Bartorillo sporting that. Venezuelan bench cheering on Jorge Lima. They know, as Chopper mentioned, a big point in this game. And he drills it back up the middle. RBI single, Jorge Lima, and Venezuela lead 2-0.
Yeah, New Zealand just going to the well too many times. They drop ball on the outside, and these Venezuelan hitters, that's what they like to hit, is that down ball. And right there, nice bit of hitting. Just took it straight up the middle, converted another run for Venezuela right here.
New Zealand have had no trouble scoring runs in the tournament. I'm sure being 2 down isn't going to worry them too much. But it's 2 for now as John Zambrano, the power-hitting first baseman, steps in. Another drop ball outside. That's off the plate. Lima almost daring Van Lieshout to throw the ball down.
Yeah, Zambrano comes into this game hitting .571 with 3 RBIs. So he knows how to convert runs and he knows how to get on board.
This is fouled off on the left side. Was another pitch set up on the outside part of the plate. It's given a chance for these Venezuelan hitters to extend their arms, Chopper, and if Hayes can't get it in his exact spot, that's what happened with Lima, and it was drift back up the middle. High and outside for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, Hayes at least using the lifter there, so testing something different, changing the eyesight of the batter. So Leisha trying to work his way around the big bat of Zambrano.
That's a drop ball in the outer half as well. Called strike 2. Number 9 batter, Edwin Linares, waits on deck. Another lefty. Well out of the zone. Well done by Van Lieshout to come up with the ball. Keeps the runner Lima at first.
Yeah, one getting stuck off the hip there, but looks like they were looking to change the pace as well, not just the eyesight level for Zambrano. So look for him to come back with something hard here on chasing on the back of that changeup.
Well, he's been living with the outside drop ball. Let's see if he goes back there. He does, and it's lifted into left field. Another single. This is off the bat of John Zambrano. And New Zealand are rallying.
If there was any concern with Venezuela's ability to hit fast pitching because of the teams they've been playing before that, that has gone to rest within the first 1.5 innings here. They have come out on fire. That'll see the pitching coach from New Zealand, Jimmy Wana, come out to see what's going on.
Already 2 runs in for Venezuela. Hayes just says, I don't know, they're hitting it. That was his reaction when his pitching coach came out.
2 days ago when Nick Hayes got the start, I think it was a Czech Republic game, Hayes was unsettled in the first couple of innings there, and Jimmy Wana, the pitching coach, spoke to Hayes in between the innings, and what he talked to him about was about parking that. So that's all in the past now. Just don't worry about what's happened before this. Park that, and then get on with your work now. And just concentrate on your assignment. And that worked a charm a couple of days ago, and hopefully maybe he's passed on a bit of that information to him here, as well as maybe changing the strategy of their pitch selection and see if that'll come to fruition for New Zealand.
Well, it's something we've been able to notice up here ourselves, so you can be sure that the Venezuelan batters know. Goes right back out there, though. This one's a strike. Maybe even caught more of the plate than he wanted to. Edwin Linares is the right fielder. Runners on first and second. Fouled straight back. Still light rain falling here in Whitehorse. Thank you for joining us on Sports Canada TV. Chris Abbott, Jason Gerby's with you. Part of the Ballpark broadcasting crew.
Umpire Lee Evans just making sure everything's taken care of down the line. We see Carl Gollan warming up down the line, the lefty for New Zealand, as a precautionary measure in case they need to bring him in.
Drop ball outside. It's a ball. Gollan has not yet taken the mound in this tournament. Should he enter this game, it'll be his first appearance. Foul tip, Linares staying alive. And how about those 1980 stirrups that a couple of teams are bringing back? You got to like that.
Yeah, I love the old school, and I must admit, I like the new logo that Canada's got on the front of their shirt. It's like off an old Coke bottle or something. I love how teams like to bring that stuff back.
Again, Linares not being fooled by Nick Hayes.
I tell you what, Linares is chasing the rise ball here, and if I was Van Lieshout and Hayes, I'll be taking that every day because that ball is going up in a hurry. Catching up with it is another question.
Drop ball just out.
Lee Evans from Australia behind the dish there. World renowned for having a nice tight strike zone, but what he does do is he doesn't change his strike zone through the whole game, and that's why he's here with this assignment today.
And that's all you can ask for as a pitcher, a catcher, or a hitter. Again, adjudged to be just outside.
Yeah, Lee Sharp with a great job of framing there, but you're not going to fill the experience of Lee Evans.
Full count to Edwin Linares. And that's drilled back up the middle. Campbell Inoka will pick it up, throws it into the cutoff man, and Lima will score from second base.
Hayes is not happy. He thinks he maybe got squeezed there on a couple of drop balls. But to be fair, if you're going to throw the same pitch 3 times in a row to an international hitter, they're going to catch up with it. And he did just that. He dispatched it to center field with ease and plates another run for Venezuela here in the top of the second innings.
Now we've got 2 arms going down in the New Zealand pen. I believe it's Pettit joining Golan.
Yeah, sure is. Josh Pettit is up, and he just come off pitching the game this morning. He threw a gem against Japan, and in my mind, the 2 aces in the staff is Hayes and Pettit, and I would think the next drop should be Pettit, but of course, I'm just a commentator, and New Zealand have the best coaching staff in the world.
And Pettit just went down there, so as you can see, he's not even close to warm yet. Just getting his arm loose. Just 1 away, runners on first and second, Linares and Zambrano as we come back to the top for Herween's Corrales. And you think back to that play Corrales made, Chopper, back in the bottom half of the first inning on the ball hit by Cole Evans that could have very easily changed the tide of this game, but he kept it in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. I think also there was the double play for New Zealand at the beginning of this innings that wasn't called, but because it was a bang-bang play. So there's always going to be tight plays in this game of fast-pitch softball. That's probably why we love it so much. There's excitement all the time.
Absolutely. And it never goes how you think it might. Team Venezuela with 3 in and still threatening. Corrales. He tells the umpire, no, that's a ball. And now Hayes' frustration is becoming more and more evident.
Yeah, Hayes is going to let this go here. Stay on his assignment. Like we said before, just got to park that. And I'm sure he will try his best to do that for his national team.
He goes up this time, swing and a miss from Corrales. '28-year-old Nick Hayes on the mound for Team New Zealand, who are 4-0 in first place in Pool A, or check that Pool B. Corrales chases again.
Yeah, I think just making sure that New Zealand is utilizing all pitches here, and the change-up, the up and down, they need to use them all. Venezuela have come out to play here. They're going to have to use everything in their arsenal.
1-2-3, Corrales chases 3 straight rise balls. And he goes down on strikes. The second strikeout of the game for Nick Hayes.
Yeah, well, it's taken 9 batters for Lee Xiao to come up to that idea that they're a drop ball hitting team, and there you go, 3 rise balls, not even in the zone. Sat him down.
Paez bunted into a double play back in the first inning. And swings through the rise ball.
Don't think he's going to bunt this time. Not with that swing.
But you're right, Chopper. They've made that adjustment, and so far it's paid off the second time through the order. Now he mixes in a drop ball.
Yeah, you got to, of course, if you stay the same thing, even though you're beating him with a rise ball all the time, if you stay with the same pitch, any international hitter at the top of their game is going to catch up with you.
0-2 count on a third baseman, Iran Paez. Van Leesch out in the other batter's box trying to get him to chase.
Taking a bit of pace off that pitch as well. So New Zealand here in the first 3 pitches to Paez, 3 different heights and 3 different paces.
Nick Hayes trying to get back in the dugout, get his team a chance to get back on the sticks. Paez not chasing that rise ball. 2-2. Chopped foul.
Paez fighting one off there to stay alive in this at-bat. He knows it's important for Venezuela. If he can pick up a hit here, he could pick up crooked number in this innings, and that would go a long way for Venezuela being successful winners in this game.
Not a ton of speed on second in Zambrano. Won't matter. Paez goes down looking. Venezuela sends 7 hitters to the plate, score 2 runs, and they lead Team New Zealand 3-0 after 1.5.
And that's the end of the second inning. Top of the second inning. There were 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. Please join us in thanking our official suppliers: Air North, Molson Coors, Home Hardware, White Horse Motors, Super Safe Fence Rental, Patrick Robert's Productions, The Rush 96.1 FM, and Standard Bus Yukon. And also please join us in thanking our community sponsors: the City of Whitehorse, Micmac Toyota, North 60 Petro, Pizza Hut, and Total Track Yukon.
Welcome back to the Pepsi Center in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada. The far northwest. We're almost in Alaska, as a matter of fact. So after a long time in the dugout, Eric Urbanea comes back to the mound. His last warm-up pitch went to the screen. And right away, New Zealand are going to have a chance to get back in this chopper. Of course, Brad Rona, Wayne Laulu, and Callan Campaign due up here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, 3 big sticks in the middle of this lineup, but to be fair, there are no breaks in the Black Sox lineup these days, so Urbanea knows that, and he will try to use everything he's got to stop them from getting on base.
Brad Rona takes a drop ball, strike 1. Rona was at the plate last inning when Thomas Inoka was picked off first base by Venezuelan catcher Rafael Flores. Infield playing well back behind the bags, edge of the grass against Brad Rona. That's low for a ball.
Yeah, the infield have their book, and the way to defend Rona is to get back to give himself as much range as possible. He's not the quickest runner to first base, so they're going to have a bit more time to get the ball there.
Rona lifts this down the right field line, curving foul.
Of course, if Brad Rona gets a hold of one here, it doesn't matter how fast he runs the bases, because normally that 9 times out of 10, that thing's on a ticket out of here.
Well, that's what he's in there to do. Make no mistake about it. He's not there to drop down an infield bunt. One and 2 counts, Urbanea. Flores wants this low. It's chopped to short, handled over there by Chirinos, and from deep in the hole, he gets Brad Rona.
Chirinos couldn't have played that ball any better. Had a deep setup we talked about before Rona hit that ball, and he was deep in the hole at shortstop there, going to his right-hand side and making a great throw to just get Rona for first base for the first out of the innings.
Wayne Laulu steps in now. Wayne looks like he's after getting in a bit better shape in the offseason.
Yeah. Don't be fooled. All of that is muscle.
I know, that's what I mean. He's jacked up. And that man can hit a softball just as far as anybody else. And look at that mean look he's got on his face.
Out for dinner with him last night, and he got this steak, and I tell you, it was like 1 or 2 breaths, and that thing was gone.
Drop ball outside, but the funny thing, he's got a mean look on his face, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
You got it. He's a gentleman for sure, and a great exponent of this game of fast pitch softball. But when he's up at the plate, it's all business.
Absolutely, it's as it should be. That's low for ball 2, and Flores says that's where I want that pitch. We don't want to give this guy anything right here. Chubbard, same thing they tried to do with Brad Rona, and they got him to chop out.
At the moment, you couldn't ask for a better start from Venezuela. They're playing the perfect game, the best game I've ever seen Venezuela play, and that's what you want when you come to a World Cup, to put the best you've got.
Laulu gets out in front of the changeup. Carreño made the effort, but that's out of play.
Carreño going a long way there for that foul ball. If there's a chance he can snag the out of Laulu on a pop fly, he'll take that for his team any day. Good
size foul territory here in Whitehorse, and especially when you get down into the corners. If anyone was able to get a ball to, just stay fair down the line, for example, like the one Rona hit earlier, it's a long way for the outfielders to track it down.
One of the traits of the Venezuelan team is a very slow game that they play in between pitches and things. They have the shot clock, but before they get it back in there, can take a bit of time. The last game I did only took 1 hour and 10 minutes. This one will go a lot longer.
Chirinos again. Laulu made it close, but out by half a step. A slow roller, and Laulu put on the Jets. Chirinos, who was playing on the edge of the grass, had to come get it, but 2 down.
Yeah, Chirinos, an elite shortstop right there. And Laulu, even for his size, can book it down the line. And just a great play there to pick up the second out of the innings.
Right fielder Callan Campaign steps in with 2 down in the bottom of the second. That's a drop ball on the inside part of the plate. And Urbanea gets ahead again.
Flores doing a great job there calling the pitches.
They go back inside. That drop ball's off the plate and a little bit low.
And Campaign comes into this game batting .500 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. And Mark Sorensen would love to see some of that form in this at-bat right now.
Inside, gets away from Flores. Absolutely, Black Sox would take any sort of 2-out rally here, and if they're going to have a 2-out rally, it needs to be started by Callan Campaign.
These right-handed hitters in Campaign against Urbanea have got to be careful because the ball travels into their bat on his trajectory from the left-handed pitching, so you've got to free your hands inside a lot earlier.
That one was outside. Campaign will foul it over toward diamond number 2. This is the second last game of the day on diamond 1. Big one between Canada and Australia directly after this one. So get comfortable. Make it a night of fast pitch here on Sports Canada TV. Urbanea wants to make sure the Campaign is in the batter's box. That back line has been completely erased.
Yeah, not unusual for the hitters these days to get comfortable in the box, and that means extending it a little at the back. That's what they do.
This is lifted deep to center field. Corrales is back, but he can't go far enough. A 2-out home run from Callan Campaign, his 3rd of the tournament.
Campaign continuing his hot form for New Zealand. 3 home runs now, 7 RBIs, and Mark Sorensen repaying his job. He's normally a catcher, but he's got him at right field now because of his bat, and there he just proved the master stroke having him in the lineup.
And move it along to the hottest hitter in the tournament.
Yeah, no rest anywhere in this lineup, but as far as things go, the lefty Bartarello from Christchurch, New Zealand, he is seeing it like a pumpkin at the moment. Expect a lot of change-ups here. It's lefty on lefty, so that's the hardest matchup that Bartarello's had this week. Let's see how he makes the adjustment.
First pitch was a strike. Outside. You had a chance to talk to Bartarello earlier today. What was he saying?
Yes, I had a chance to talk to him, and I was in between the rain out. We had a quick little interview, and I asked him a few things. What did it mean to play for the New Zealand Black Sox? And his answers to that was very touching. He said, look, I don't own this shirt. I'm just a holder of it, and I'm here to respect all those players that came before me, and we are just a caretaker of this shirt, and I just will try to do my best to respect the New Zealand Black Sox shirt.
Well, that's a very, very nice answer. 1-2 count, 2 down. New Zealand have scratched back 1 run here as they trail Venezuela by 2. Bartorillo chops it off the plate. Tough play for Limas. He can't make it.
Yeah, got to say, Limo, and he made a gallant effort to get to that ball, but that high chopper in that situation, it's almost a safe hit 99% of the time, especially when you've got a left-handed batter. And Bartorillo doing the job there. That is, by the way, the first single that he's hit. Every hit he's had in this tournament so far, 5 of them, have all been home runs. So Bartorillo, okay, he is human. It's a single.
That'll bring up the catcher with 2 down, Zane Van Lieshout. And the official scorekeeper does give a single on that play. Van Lieshout shows bunt and is called for strike 1.
Zambrano at first base there started fielding behind Bartorillo, looking for that quick snap fire pick-off from Flores' strong arm. Bartorillo having nothing to do with it, shooting the lead off. Black Sox won't caught without that twice.
Low ball 1. And that time Bartorillo didn't even leave the base at all.
One of the things the Black Sox pride themselves on is their base running ability. Normally very, very aggressive, so we'll see how Sorensen plays this out.
Low, ball 2. Flores tried to pull it up.
Yeah, Flores, a very, very experienced catcher back there and has very intelligent in what he calls and obviously trying to frame that one, but as we talked before, Lee Evans, he won't be fooled.
That's high. 3-1. The youngster Camberley Noka is on deck.
Van Lieshout picking up his first hit of the tournament against Japan earlier today, so getting himself going, but already picked up a couple of walks, so he's being fastidious here and making sure he gets a good pitch to try and swing it.
Rafael Flores steps out to remind his teammates there's 2 outs. The runner, Bartorillo, will be going. Hold your position. And Sorensen walks down the line, says, why did they reset the clock? Looking to get a ball called. Now the clock sits at 10 seconds. Urbanea has 10 seconds to throw his next pitch.
For those that are new to watching the World Cup, we use a 20-second clock here, and the pitcher must deliver the pitch within 20 seconds, but also the batter must get into the batter's box within the first 10 seconds.
This is a hard hit ball to short. Lima on to first, and that will retire the Black Sox here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. They do get 1 back on the strength of a Callan campaign home run to center field after 2 complete. Venezuela lead 3-1.
The Rush 96.1 FM is the official radio station of the 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship. Tune in for all the latest championship coverage or listen online at ckrw.com. And Molson Coors is an official supplier of the 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship and proud supporter of Yukon's softball community. Leading off for the visiting team of Venezuela, wearing jersey number 25 is the shortstop, Yader Chirinos.
Nick Hayes back on the mound for the top of the 3rd inning for the New Zealand Black Sox. Not hard to tell I'm a Canadian guy, eh, with the Blackhawks.
You ice hockey guys. Gotta love you.
Just came out just like that. Yeter Chirinos homered in the first inning on a first pitch outside drop ball.
Just see Rona having a word to first base umpire Lopez from Puerto Rico. Notice Lopez came over to Hayes at the beginning, just after he'd taken his warm-up pitches, to talk to him about his footwork again. And I think Rona took a bit of an exception to that and just wants him to stay over there, but do your job, but don't get too much involved.
Check swing foul ball. Chirinos, who had a couple of nice plays at shortstop an inning ago. So he's been doing it with the bat and with the glove. Drop ball, inner half for a strike, and Hayes had a little more zip on that one than we've seen this game.
Yeah, Hayes can definitely fire it down there. He's the one of the fastest pitchers on the staff, and when he gets it going, it can really get right up there in the rev counter.
Van Lieshout calls time with just 5 seconds left on the pitch clock.
Yeah, good point. You've got to be very cautious here. Hayes want to be set when he gets down.
That's a ball. Hayes had to rush that pitch. If the clock expires, it's a ball. That's all. Nothing happens. There's no explosion or anything, just a ball.
Yeah, that is a penalty for either one. If the batter doesn't get in there within 10 seconds, he gets a strike on him. If the pitcher doesn't deliver the pitch within 20 seconds, it's a ball.
Fouled straight back. Chirinos lets out a grunt.
And the 20-second clock is actually a great addition to the game of fast pitch softball because this game is fast. Unlike the other type with baseball, that game can stretch out for 4 or 5 hours sometimes, whereas a game of softball is all over in an hour and a half. It's bang, 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 action, 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 game over. Get to the bed 10 early.
If it's played properly. We had a 7-inning game just before this one, I think lasted about hour 25. We haven't had any marathons here this week yet, knock on wood.
Yeah, I mentioned before Venezuela, though, they do play the game with a lot of pauses. So you probably will find this game will take a little bit longer than the norm.
Nuku had to run in and grab a pair of shades as the sun is battling to come out here in Whitehorse. Light rain still falling. Chirinos out in front of the off speed, and he's down on strikes.
Yeah, New Zealand making an adjustment on the way they're attacking the batters now, and it's good to see them utilising some different pitches instead of heavily relying on Hayes' number one pitch, that down and hard.
Rafael Flores popped up to the catcher to end the first inning. There is almost nothing worse in fast pitch than popping up to the catcher. I'm serious. You're looking at me like I shouldn't say that. It's the worst feeling. I'm just saying I'm not saying for him. I'm saying it's the worst feeling to do that.
Hey, I agree with you. The idea is to get it over the back fence, not by this one.
I would rather strike out than pop up to the catcher. Flores tried to pop that out of the field, but again out in front. So Hayes now is changing his speeds a little bit better come the third inning.
Yeah, you would have seen when they went back to the dugout, I'm sure pitching coach Jimmy Weiner would have said, hey guys, we need to adjust the way that we're attacking these batters. And they have a book on each batter for sure, but just to be a little bit more intelligent about the way we go about it.
Flores could not pull the trigger. He goes down looking. And quickly, 2 down for Team Venezuela here in the top of the third.
Yeah, Nick Hayes has settled down here now. That's the 4th strikeout he's recorded in a row, so good to see for him. And he did this the other day, like we said, against Czech Republic. He did settle down after a bit of a wobbly start.
That brings up the left fielder, Carlos Carreño. Again, changeup has Carreño out front. Walked, stole second, advanced to third on an illegal pitch, and scored on the Jorge Lima RBI single last inning.
Yeah, with that change-up, Chris, it doesn't matter who you are. When you throw as fast as Hayes does and then you mix the speed with the change.
And Hayes will make the play. 1-3, 3 up, 3 down. A first clean inning for Nick Hayes and the New Zealand Black Sox as we go to the bottom of the third.
skip the hassle of looking for a parking spot at the park, there's a free shuttle from several different hotels downtown to the Pepsi Ball Softball Center. For the locations and shuttle schedule, please check 2017 mensworldsoftball.com under visitors. Super Save is a proud supporter of the 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship, the Yukon's #1 fence rental and propane supplier. Super Save provides for all your special event needs.
9-1-2 due up for Team New Zealand in the bottom half of the third inning. Campbell Inoka, followed by Cole Evans and Nathan Nukunuku.
Yeah, Campbell Inoka at the bottom of the order here, but quite commonly teams will put their next best leadoff type hitter in that position, and Campbell Inoka's hitting .667, doing exactly that.
And he's in the lineup for Ben Inoka, his brother, who's normally the center fielder and one of the stars of the New Zealand team. He's day-to-day with a leg injury.
We had an illegal pitch called on that, Chris.
Ball one it is.
Yeah, Ben Inoka, there's no update on his condition at the moment. I know the medical staff of the New Zealand Black Sox are working on him every minute of the day to get him back in a position to hopefully add his mark to this tournament. They're hoping to get him back for the playoffs, and that's on Friday, but we did see the injury and it didn't look very good for him, but hey, you never know, with today's medical wonders, anything is possible.
2-0 pitch. Campbell Inoka chops it towards short. Chirinos takes it on 4 hops, and he could not find the handle. Eventually threw it nowhere near first base, so we'll call that E6.
Chirinos is human after those 2 superhuman plays earlier on the last innings on a squibbler towards him there. It's a tough play to make, don't get me wrong, and he got it in the glove, but he couldn't get it out, and unfortunately for him, Inoka finds himself on first base.
Well, you talk about that baseball influence, and Chirinos plays way back with no runners on. That took 4 or 5 hops, and then he just couldn't find the handle. Evans trying to sneak down a bunt. Now, would you like to see more of a sacrifice-type bunt there than trying to bunt for a hit?
Yeah, I think the New Zealand team will utilise all different types of bunts, and because at this elite level, you can't be just textbook all the time, and I think that's what I've liked, what I've seen from Venezuela in this game. The way they've started this game, they did a whole lot of things you don't see that's quite common in teams, and if you think outside the square, that's how you sometimes beat these teams.
You could hear some yelling from on deck. Nathan Nukunuku was yelling at Campbell Inoka not to get such a big leadoff.
Daryl Marino is the first base coach for the New Zealand Black Sox, so I'm sure he's got a chain on the back foot of Inoka.
Evans, what a play by Lima at first base. All around, that was fantastic softball. A beautiful slap bunt by Evans off the glove of the first baseman Zambrano, and Jorge Lima in one motion dove, picked up the ball, and tagged the base. Wow.
I'd say there was a hell of a lot happening in that play there. Firstly, they did the push bunt, so instead of doing your standard sacrifice bunt there, they tried to push it, and New Zealand were very lucky not to get doubled up. Then that ball just came off Zambrano's glove, but Lima at second base, just out of this world, getting the Cole out at first base.
I didn't think there was a chance to get him at first after that went off the glove of Zambrano. Nukunuku steps in with 1 down, and Campbell Inoka on second. Change up inside is a ball.
Yeah, that last play doesn't really do justice in the scorebook. It's just a ground out to 4, but that play was elite.
Nukunuku fake bunt, snap down. They've got Inoka in a rundown. Lima will tag Inoka, and the second runner picked off the base pass by Rafael Flores.
Flores. Man, he's the spark of this team. He has come to play. That's the third throw behind the runner. And man, oh man, He has really ignited this Venezuela team. They play with passion. They play with emotion. He's bringing all of it today.
Going to call that a 2-6-5-4 putout. Wow. It's rare to see one pickoff from a catcher in a game, especially against the #1 ranked team in the world, let alone 2 in the first 3 innings.
And you know what? You just can't have those unforced errors. You really can't. Not at this level, and not in a game that's going to be so close as this one. And there you go. Inoka would have scored on the very next pitch.
Nuku singles to right field. And instead of a 1-run game, we've got 1 runner on second with 2 down as Thomas Inoka comes to the plate.
Yeah, Nuku with laser beams to the dugout there to his fellow Black Sox. But you know what? He'll park that now and go from here. Nuku in his 6th World Cup. He's got all the experience. He knows what to do in this situation, and that is be composed and allow the game to play out.
So Thomas Inoka looking to keep the inning going here with Brad Rona on deck. Nuku's the runner at first. First pitch is high for a ball from Eric Urbanea, the Venezuelan left-hander.
Thomas Inoka was the captain while Nathan Nuku took a break for work commitment. So he's one of the leaders of this team, and he'll want to lead his way here with the bat and give New Zealand another chance to pick up another run here in the 3rd innings.
That's a drop ball at the knees for a strike. Just low, ball 2.
Nuku tempting Flores to throw the ball. I'll tell you what, I don't think Flores needs much tempting.
No. You're absolutely right with that. Thomas Inoka, only 26 years old.
Zambrano going behind Nuku at first base, maybe looking for a pickoff play here on a 2-2 count, but I know Nuku will be awake on that.
Inoka singles through the left side. Chirinos can just turn to his right and look. Nuku rounds second with a big turn, trying to force a throw. Now first and second for Brad Rona.
Yeah, nice bit of hitting by Inoka there in that situation. And as I said, he's one of the leaders of the team. That'll prompt the Venezuelan coach to come out of the dugout to talk to his team. He knows this is a big part of the ball game. It's only 2-run difference. And Rona comes to the plate as the go-ahead runner.
So a meeting on the mound for what is a key moment in this game. First place in Pool B, at least temporarily on the line. 2 days of round-robin play, or pool play, I suppose, left in this Men's World Championship. Playoff round begins Friday. The jockeying is well underway. Neither of these teams likely in danger of missing the playoffs, but it's where you finish, as you talked about off the opening. That means so much. Rona takes a look at ball 1. Quick throw down Flores as Inoka scoots back to first base with that trademark smile.
New Zealand will be holding their breath here, hoping their superstar Rona can come up trumps in this situation.
Rona takes a ball. Well, you almost expect it from Brad Rona. As Stephen Mullally is to Team Canada, Brad Rona is to the New Zealand Black Sox.
Yeah, Rona hitting 500 coming in today with 1 RBI, but no home runs yet. He would love to pick up his first home run here at this at-bat.
Time was called by Flores just before the pitch. There was 9 or 10 on the clock. Let's see what they reset it to here. They've got it at 16. Low again, 3-0. Wayne Laulu waits on deck.
Just see them having a bit of communication issues regarding the shot clock here. We've got Carlos Falcone from Venezuela running that shot clock today. So just got to be on the same page with umpire Evans, making sure it's set at the right time.
That's called a strike, and now Urbanea and Flores got their signals crossed. Flores was going down, that went up. Flores never even caught it, and it was called a strike. So Flores is mad at his pitcher. The Black Sox are mad at the umpire.
Lucky the sun's coming out to make it a brighter day.
Rona flares it into right. That's going to get down. Nuku scores. The throw to third is late. Anoka is in. And Brad Rona has an RBI single.
Brad Rona in his 6th World Cup, as he's done many a times in that black shirt for New Zealand. Drives in another run for New Zealand. Just one run away now from Venezuela with a tying run at third base. The goal run, he'd run at first, but up to bat now, the biggest guy I've ever seen. That bat looks like a twig in his hand.
There's going to be a pinch runner. Rona is going to be replaced as Mark Sorensen makes the change. Some activity now in the Venezuelan bullpen. 3 straight hits off Eric Urbanea, and Venezuela have seen their lead diminish to just 1. Joel Evans will be the runner for Brad Rona. Carlos Ucero and Mikhail Pimentel are throwing. Laulu right back to the mound. Urbanea underhand toss. And that'll do it for the threat. One more run for Team New Zealand. They are clawing back from a 3-0 deficit. The score after 3. Venezuela 3, New Zealand 2.
Yukon is the official transportation provider of the 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship. From industrial to employee transportation or corporate travel to athletics. Using standard charter fleet services guarantees safe and reliable group travel. Venezuela, wearing number 8 is a designated player, Luis Pinto.
Top of the 4th inning, Luis Pinto, Jorge Lima, and John Zambrano due up for Team Venezuela. Nick Hayes out for his 4th inning of work, and he settled in the 3rd, Chopper.
Yeah, he sure has. And on the back of that, New Zealand have sat Josh Pettit back down in the dugout. They had him up warming up before, so they seem to be happy with Hayes at the moment. He had a good hit last innings, but there you go.
Yeah, that was a hard hit ball back the middle by Luis Pinto, and I believe it was you who said it yesterday. If you throw it down the middle, it's going to come back up the middle.
Mm-hmm. Just a time called by the first base umpire, the Lopez from Puerto Rico, having a chat to Evans behind the dish. So everything seems to be squared away and they're happy now.
So that'll bring up Jorge Lima. RBI single and came around to score in the 2nd inning.
Just on that hit, New Zealand have got Josh Pettit up again, heading down to the bullpen.
Lima chases the rise ball, strike 1. Outside rise ball called strike 2.
Just clipping the top there, I'd say, on that pitch. Also in the bullpen now is Carl Gollan, the left-handed option for New Zealand. So I've got a righty and a lefty up there warming up.
Lima fouls it straight back towards the concessions area.
Not uncommon for these international teams to get all their pitches up and utilise them. They know how important this fixture is. The number 1 spot is up for grabs, and that's obviously the number 1 and 2 spot will give you the double life in the playoff format coming up on Friday.
Lima lifts this to right center field. It is gone. Jorge Lima takes Nick Hayes deep, and it is 5-2 Venezuela.
Yeah, Lima, you saw him wave at that rise ball on the first pitch, and he liked the look of that, and he found something he liked on the outside of the plate, and a nice bit of professional hitting there. Went with the ball, didn't try to pull it and take some of the power out of the pitch, used the pace off the pitch, and dispatched that quite easily over the center right field fence.
That was about 270 feet. Didn't fall a whole long way over the 260-foot fence, but enough for Venezuela to restake their 3-run lead. Nobody out in the top of the 4th. John Zambrano with a hard swing through that. Strike 1. Time called as the ball comes back in from the outfield. That's the home run ball by Lima.
Zambrano's a big man at the plate. He's built for power, and we've seen him this week. He can dispatch it over the fence in a heartbeat. So very dangerous hitter up to the plate right now.
35-year-old John Zambrano. Rise ball is out of the zone.
With no outs here on the top of the 4th. Tense time for New Zealand. The last thing you want to do is let Venezuela back into this ball game with those 2 runs. They've just done that.
It's always tough when you get those runs back. You want to go out, get back in on the sticks as quick as possible, certainly not give them right back.
Venezuela are doing a very efficient job at the plate today, and as I said, especially in defense, some intelligent moves and plays and athleticism. So they have definitely brought the best game they could possibly do, and they'll need that, being number 7 v number 1.
Zambrano pops it up on the left side of the infield. Bardarillo there and takes it. Oftentimes you'll see the shortstop call off the third baseman there, but the youthful Evans let Bardarillo make the play.
Yeah, well, it's shortstop on shortstop in that particular case, and Bardarillo's not happy to let go of that one. And in that case, Evans, he made the right decision. He was camped underneath it. He had it under control.
Edwin Linares had an RBI single last time around. Drop ball is outside. Ball 1. Check swing, no swing from Linares.
New Zealand's bullpen's got Carl Gollan in there, the left-handed option. I see him warming up in a hurry down there at the moment, so he's getting ready, and he could be the next drop.
Swing and a miss, Linares. As he couldn't catch up with the Nick Hayes rise ball. He took a mighty hack, however.
Yeah, got to say, Venezuelan players are free swingers, just like their flair of dress code. They like to swing the bat as hard as they can.
Linares again with the control not to swing at the rise ball. 3-1 count. The leadoff hitter, Herwin Corrales, is on deck. That's a Drop ball for a strike.
Yeah, sporting the Michael Jackson check swing motion. You don't see that very often, but it's nice to see it come to the ballpark today.
Full count pitch. Drop ball on the outside corner. Down looking goes Edwin Linares. Update from Diamond number 2. Chopper, the United States lead the Dominican Republic 3-1 in the bottom of the first. The U.S. are the home team in that game.
The U.S. have got the best team I've seen in many years this week, and they are a true contender for the title this week.
2 down as Corrales comes to the plate. He's 1 for 2. He led off the game with a single and was promptly doubled off.
Time called by Hayes here, getting his battery made out and say, Bud, are we on the same page here? I want to make sure I like to use this pitch in this situation. Are you happy with that? And it's a negotiation, and obviously Van Lieshout calls the shots. Hayes deals from the mound.
2 down, nobody on. That is a drop ball outer half for a strike.
So it sounds like Hayes said, I just want to throw it as hard as I can in the strike zone. You catch it, Bud.
That's a low rise ball. I'm going to say it's just off the plate, ball 2.
Yeah, well, umpire Evans is the closest to the action there. And we rely that he's got the best eyes in the business. And he's got a tight zone, but he keeps the same zone the whole game. So that must have been just outside.
Well, that too, and our fans should realize our camera isn't perfectly centered, because if it was, we'd be staring right at the back of Nick Hayes. So the angles can also deceive. Swing and a miss, down goes Corrales. Venezuela will get the 2 back and restore their 3-run lead. New Zealand will send their 6, 7, 8 batters to the plate. Callan Campaign, Tyrone Bartarillo, and Zane Van Lieshout when we return.
Supplier of the 2017 WBSC Men's World Softball Championship. Visit www.budget.com for the best deals on car, truck, and SUV rentals. Open 7 days a week with airport and in-town locations. Let us be your designated driver. Grab the free shuttle from one of several locations. For info, visit 2017mensworldsoftball.com.
Callan Campaign had a solo home run back in the 2nd inning off Eric Urbanea, who is back out for his 4th inning of work.
Just while umpire Lee Evans cleans the plate there, if you saw on the stream, catcher Flores entertaining the crowd. He has this thing when he finishes the warm-up pitches, he throws it between his legs to second base, and just like the shoes they wear, he's got the flair on the way he throws it to 2.
Well, and it's perfect every time. It's unbelievable how he does that.
Don't say this ain't the entertainment business.
Fouled off down the right side. Zambrano was going to go for it, but as soon as the ball hit the dirt, it rocketed over to the fence.
Campaign just in front of that one, right on it. Obviously swinging a good stick. If you're just looking to get a good solid contact here, he knows his job is just to be a leadoff batter here.
The rain has slowed. There's a little bit of mist still in the air as the sun continues to battle. Drop ball away on the 0-2 waste pitch.
Venezuela have got both righty and lefty options up in the bullpen. precautionary measure for Venezuela. Precautionary measure for Venezuela here.
Real big crowd gathering here at diamond number 1. Campaign, and Lima tracks back to make the out. Big crowd here. A lot of them were here for the start of this game. Many now making their way in early to catch the end of this game. And, of course, the Canada-Australia marquee matchup tonight.
Yeah, that will be elite. That'll be Folkard on the hill there. He was rested this morning. Kirkpatrick got the start. Folkard, the best pitcher in the world at the moment, has been for a while, up against the hot Canada team. That will be something you won't want to miss.
You can be sure that Sean Cleary will be on the mound. Folkard and Cleary have had battle after battle over the last few years, whether it be on the North American club circuit or here internationally. Chopper, we're off for the day, so we're going to enjoy that one, I think, from the bleachers.
Yeah, I guess there might be a refreshment or two or a cup of tea, but
Maybe
I
a
like
tea.
my biscuits.
We have to get you another grilled cheese sandwich. What a great story this is. The man comes to Canada from New Zealand, never heard of a grilled cheese sandwich, a Canadian staple, which is just butter, bread, and cheese. And you guys haven't figured it out in New Zealand yet.
I'll tell you what, if you've seen the size of me, I love to eat. And baby, that grilled cheese and ham in the shop I've got here, she knows when I'm walking up there, she's getting it out because I'm eating a ton of them.
They're going to have to fly more bread and cheese into the Yukon for you.
I got to pay for excess luggage to fly back to New Zealand.
Cultural exchange. We like it.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Strike 2 on Tyrone Bartorillo. He bats with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Check swing. That was a little bit awkward as Bartorillo hit the ground with his bat, but he managed to make contact with the ball as well.
Yeah, just fighting that one off, not happy to drive that pitch. And Bartorillo has an elite eye. This is his 3rd World Cup. He comes with a lot of experience. He can drop the ball down or he can hit for power, and we've seen that this week. We've seen that from him.
Urbanea set, curveball, and a nasty one. Down goes Bartorillo swinging.
Urbanea, he is the master of disguise, and that curveball comes from behind his hip and from a lefty that's almost impossible to see, and it tails away from Bartorillo there, catching him on the front foot and sends him back to the dugout.
2 down for number 13, Zane Van Lieshout.
Yeah, halfway through this game here, New Zealand trailing by 3 runs. I know there are 2 outs, but they'll want to get Van Lieshout on because Anoka is a threat batting next.
There's a curveball that came in over the outside corner, so he can throw it to the lefties and the righties.
Yeah, Benet has been around a while now, and he can hit his location wherever he wants to, and at any pitch count too, and that's what's deadly about his game. He's not an elite velocity pitcher, but his control is impressive.
He tried to get Van Lieshout to chase out.
He reminds me of a young David Gollan back in Wellington, New Zealand. Similar lefty style, a lot of different change-ups, very hard to hit off, and those are always hard for any hitter, lefty or righty.
Down goes Van Lieshout swinging. So the first clean inning for Eric Urbanea comes in the bottom of the 4th. Venezuela are going to take a 3-run lead to the 5th here on Sports Canada TV.
The scores: the visiting team of Venezuela has 5, and the home team of New Zealand has 2. Join the conversation on social media. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at 2017 Men's World Softball, or on Twitter at WBSC Men's 2017. Use the hashtag WBSC Men's 2017. The 2017 Men's World Softball Championship is powered in part by volunteers. A big thank you to the record number who signed up to help host this event. When you see one in the red volunteer vest, Please give them a smile. Leading off for the visiting team of Venezuela, wearing number 13, is Arturo Ocasio.
Pinch hitter for Venezuela to start the top of the fifth, and it's their leading hitter in the tournament, chopper, Arturo Ocasio.
Yeah, Ocasio with batting 800 with one home run, and Venezuela looking for insurance runs at this part of the ball game.
So that's, is he 4 for 5, I would imagine? That's his 800.
I don't know, but he's cold. He's got that beanie wrapped around his head. Remember, in Venezuela right now, it's like about 36 degrees, and it has warmed up a bit now. It's probably about 12 or 14 degrees here, so that's not too bad for us.
Ball 2 to Ocasio. He's hitting for the third baseman here, Iran Paez. Venezuela trying to strike while the iron is hot. I've never quite understood what that meant now that I think about it. Slap bunt to short, tough play, and he's out.
I'll tell you what, to look at Arturo, you wouldn't think that that's his game plan right there, but he's actually got quite a bit of pace, and Cole Evans had to pull off a great throw to get him out there to record the first out of the innings.
So we've checked the record books, and to the best of what we can find, at the World Championship, Venezuela have never beaten New Zealand.
And I'm sure New Zealand are aware of that, and they won't want today to be the first.
Yetur Chirinos, 1 for 2 with a solo home run.
I remember the 2013 gold medal match, and it almost looked like to me that Venezuela were just happy to make the final. They beat Australia to get to that game, and but they're a different ball club now. They've grown with a lot more experience. That was a fair while ago, and as you can see, Venezuela can play this lovely game of fast pitch.
Yeah, Venezuela have a veteran team, a lot of guys in their late 20s and 30s. So unlike some teams that are here, Venezuela are primed to win now and not later. Chirinos, hard one, that gets under the glove of Cole Evans. And that'll be the second hit of the game for Yetur Chirinos.
Yeah, Chirinos getting his eye in there and driving that one underneath the glove. Tough play for Evans there. Maybe a couple of extra steps would have helped, but when the ball's traveling that fast, you only a split second to react.
So 1 down, 1 out. Chirinos, the runner at first. And the catcher, Rafael Flores, who's 0 for 2, steps in. He fists one out to second base. Tough play. Nuka to Evans, who misses the ball. Chirinos is on to third. And an error by Cole Evans at the worst possible time.
Yeah, Evans trying to complete the double play there, and basics first, young man. It's ball first, then throw. And Nuku making a nice fine backhanded shovel, but Flores is proof to the example. Just put the ball in play, and sometimes things can happen.
That brings up Carlos Carreño. They're going to run for Rafael Flores at first base. Carlos Ojeda will be the pinch runner. And now how's this for an opportunity for Carlos Carreño?
Well, if you thought there was a big part of the ball game earlier on, right now is the defining moment of this ball game. Venezuela ahead by 3 runs. There's only 1 out. Runners in the corners.
And a pinch runner in Carlos Ojeda. So will they test Van Leash out? Or will they just let Carreño do the job at the plate? Interesting decision-making time now for the Venezuelan coaching staff. First pitch is low to Carreño. Ojeda not going anywhere on that one.
New Zealand got Josh Pettit back up in the bullpen They're getting ready and speaking with pitching coach Jimmy Wana down the line.
Correño swings over the top of the drop ball, 1-1.
I think that's the place to put the drop ball against these Venezuelan hitters. Don't put it outside. You can let their arms get free. Tuck it inside so that you've got a situation where you've got to try and turn on it. And if not, create a ground ball. So if you're going to throw a drop ball, I think that's the location against the Venezuela's batters in this situation.
Correño to short. Evans to Nuku for one. Back to first. Safe. And the run scores on the play. Bang, bang on the fielder's choice. Chirinos comes in to make it 6-2.
Evans electing to go for the double play in that situation with one out, trying to get out of the innings there instead of securing the runner coming home. And it's a 50-50 choice. The ball did come to him a little bit slower, but in that case, you always gamble with the chance. If you don't get the second out, they will get another run. And in this case, Venezuela pick up an insurance run right there.
Brings up Luigi Pinto. Singled and scored in the last inning. Pinto fouls it off the hands, out of play. So while New Zealand continued to warm pitchers, it's Nick Hayes who remains on the mound, now having allowed 6. That last one will be unearned.
Yeah, Coach Sorensen electing to leave his one of his aces on there, even with giving up 6 runs. It is unusual to see that happen for such a long period of time, but he's got an idea of what he's wanting to achieve here, and I'm sure he's a masterclass thinker that he's got a plan in place.
Hayes takes a little bit off. It's a strike at the belt. 0-2 on Luigi Pinto.
Looks like Pettit is ready to go. He's coming back to the dugout, so he's ready to go at any time that Sorensen wants him.
Drop ball. Van Lieshout has to reach back in to catch it, but Pinto swings through. Another run for Venezuela, and they lead by 4. 9 outs left for the New Zealand Black Sox. We're in for a good finish here in Whitehorse.
The score is 6 for Venezuela and 2 for New Zealand. If you're posting photos from the ballpark to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, use the hashtag WBSC Men 2017 and share them with the world.
So it's up to Campbell Inoka, Cole Evans, and Nathan Nuku to try and turn the ship around here for the Black Sox, trailing by 4. So if they wanted a challenge, Chopper, they've certainly got one on their hands.
Yeah, they sure have. This game has taken a long time to get to this point, but the Black Sox will know there is still 3 innings of play to happen, and a lot can happen in 3 innings, and 4 runs can easily be erased within that time. What New Zealand need to do, though, is they need to stop the bleeding when they get out in the field.
Drop ball is a strike on the inner half. 1 ball, 1 strike to Campbell Inoka. Reached on an error in his first at-bat and was then picked off second by Rafael Flores. Hard ground ball to short. Chirinos comes up with it, and he decides against throwing. It's an infield single for Campbell Inoka.
Chirinos with a great stop there. He moved a long way diving to his right-hand side to get that ball, but made a wise choice. He knew that he couldn't get Inoka, only a couple of steps off the base by that time. Safely on first base, exactly what Sorensen would like his leadoff hitter on when you're chasing 4 runs. Let's hope he doesn't get picked off this time. Cole Evans up to bat.
Let's see how Evans' mindset is after a tough inning in the field for him last inning. He's up there hacking at the first pitch. He fouls it back.
Yeah, I think Evans, the best thing that could happen to him here after the last innings is to get a nice solid hit. That might settle him down and bring him back into the game. And you don't want to see anyone to make a couple of errors in the field. And unfortunately, last innings wasn't the best.
Low and outside for a ball. Inoka on first, runs well.
New Zealand hasn't attempted to steal a base yet against Flores, and he's shown his arm, so normally you would see them making a run at some stage.
Evans can't pull the trigger. Strike 2 in, another drop ball.
Coach Marino at first base for the New Zealand Black Sox. He'll be having plenty of words of conversation with his runners at first base, making sure he's looking after them and knowing when to go and when not to go.
Chopped in front of the plate. Urbanea turns, fires. What a play! Eric Urbanea. Everything going right for the New Zealanders at this point.
Yeah, the New
For
Zealanders.
the Venezuelans at this point.
Venezuela, they've brought the best of the best they could play, and at the moment they're playing the best game they've ever played in their life, and they deserve to be in the lead by 4 runs at this stage. That play from Urbanea was top shelf.
To pick that ball up, barehanded, turn, and make the out, that's world class, folks.
Lucky for the New Zealand Black Sox up to bat now. Nathan Nukunuku, he's the most elite hitter that New Zealand has produced from the left side. And I know Coach Sorensen would love him to come in good right here.
A single would cut the lead in half. Drop ball in a perfect spot from Urbanea. Called strike.
Interesting fact, Nukunuku, not a tall man, but he swings a heavy 30-ounce bat, so he likes a log of wood.
And he drifts one into right field. It gets beyond Linares. Anoka's in to score easily, and standing up at third base is Nathan Nukunuku.
Nukunuku perfect on the day here with 2 hits and the sacrifice hit. He has carried on his hot form from this morning with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. That man is on fire right now, and if he doesn't find his way to the top of the batting stats at this tournament, I won't eat another cheese grilled sandwich for the rest of my life.
It'll be interesting to see if they call that a triple or a 3-base error on Linares. He did get his glove on it. Thomas Inoka now takes strike 1, drop ball inside.
Yeah, officially called by the scorer, triple there. So she saw the way that she thought maybe he had a chance of getting there in that case. The ball was curling away.
In the dirt, Flores keeps it in his feet. So now Urbanea, even though he's leading by 3, is definitely feeling the pressure with the heart of the New Zealand order facing him. Fouled away by Inoka, strike 2.
We mentioned earlier that Inoka is used to be the captain of this team while Nukunuku was taking a break with work commitments. He came up with a great hit in his last turn at bat, and I'm sure he'd like to continue that form right now, bringing up the meat of their order with only 1 out, chasing only 3 runs at this point.
He's 2 for 2. 2 singles. Low and away, ball.
New Zealand base runners showing plenty of respect to Flores here. Nuku only being a couple of steps off the base, and then make sure he can't be thrown out. He knows it's important. They need every single out in this situation to try and get back to win this game.
And Inoka swings through the pitch in the dirt for the second out.
Yeah, Ubanya pulling 2 strings on that one.
Yeah.
And you know what? He is crafty. You said that at the beginning of the show, and he deserves to be out there. He is the ace on their staff this week, Urbaneja, and he's showing right now why he thinks he's the ace.
Meeting on the mound, and I've got to think this is a question of whether or not to maybe walk Rona to get to Laulu, which pick your poison, I suppose. I mean, the other case, my take on it is if Brad Rona hits a 2-run home run, you're still in the lead.
Yeah, there's no chance they're going to put Rona on in this situation. That'd be suicide for the coach, and he would lose his tenure for the next World Cup, I would think. You never bring the tying run to the plate in that situation, no matter who the batter is. And, you know, Venezuela, you've just got to take your shot here. You know, you've got a chance to break history, make history, and beat New Zealand for the first time. And Urbaneja has been throwing well, given an opportunity to secure his win.
There's 2 out. Brad Rona at the plate. Nathan Nuku is the runner at third. First pitch, strike down Main Street.
Yeah, this is a situation, though, that you don't have to hit the first strike. You got to take your time, find the pitch you like, and then give that a charge.
Bottom of the zone, just below it.
Rona's a big man, just under 7 feet tall. Weighs 140 kgs dry. So, yeah, that strike zone's going to be up a little bit.
You can see there his knees, how high they are off the ground. Nibble, nibble, says Urbaneja. No strike call. Flores rolls his eyes and lobs the ball back to the mound.
There's a great example of Urbaneja's curveball. It goes so far. It missed the strike zone, but when it got to Flores, it was in the strike zone, but it passed the home plate as such. And Flores tried his best to get that call, but as we said, Evans, he's an elite umpire. He won't call things that are out of the zone.
Going inside, Rona lifts it deep to left, and Carreño with a diving grab. Carlos Carreño stretches out and makes the catch for the third out in this inning.
Carlos Carreño. That is not an easy hit. That ball is tailing away from him. Rona put a charge into it. It was not going to go out, but it was definitely going to go into the corner for a stand-up double. But Carreño, just like the rest of his teammates from Venezuela today, are playing the best games of their life, and that play was elite and top shelf.
Right back with the top of the 6th inning after this.
And we have a pitching change for New Zealand. Now pitching is Josh Pettit.
So we go to the 6th inning, a new pitcher for Team New Zealand, Josh Pettit, who pitched the win over Japan last night / this morning, takes over.
Yeah, Josh Pettit had a heck of a ball game, a rain-interrupted, suspended game from last night. Started, did 3 innings last night, and then came back this morning, or 2 1/4 innings last night. Came back this morning to finish that game off and settled down well, beating the number 2 nation in the world, Japan, and put his hand up to say, hey, don't forget me. I want to be the ace of this team as well. And he's getting his opportunity, albeit 6 runs into the ball game for Venezuela at the 6 innings here.
So it's going to be 7-8-9 for Venezuela. Jorge Lima, John Zambrano, and Edwin Linares. Lima is in early running for Ballpark Broadcasting Player of the Game with a single, a home run, and 3 RBIs, and Pettit's first pitch goes to the screen.
Yeah, Pettit has a rise ball that just bites, and you see that loosener from him just kick up in the jet stream there. But he is predominantly a down ball pitcher, so he's going to have to go away from his natural game here a little bit if he wants to beat these Venezuelan hitters who love that down and away pitch.
That's a drop ball on the inside. Lima chops it foul. Jorge Lima also had that diving out play to rob Cole Evans earlier in the game defensively.
Yeah, Lima, he looks good at second base, doesn't he? So just as good with the bat, so this will be a good challenge here for Josh Pettit.
Lima with a hard hit ball past the diving Tyrone Bartorillo and is now 3 for 3.
Yeah, Pettit just missing his assignment there, hanging the drop ball up in the middle of the zone, and Lima's too good a hitter to let that one go past. Dispatches it down through the 5-6 hole, safely aboard first base with no out. We've seen that so many times this game. Venezuela getting their leadoff runner on first base.
I was just going to make that comment. I was counting it up on my score sheet. 4 of the 6 innings, they've had the leadoff runner on. Big John Zambrano singled and popped out to third. And he's not going to reach that drop ball on that swing 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, he's got one thing in mind here, mate. If he can get this thing over that fence, even with New Zealand's fight back every innings we're seeing here, you would think that would put this game to bed for Venezuela.
They go right out there again, noticing the same thing we did. Zambrano looking to pull that ball. You just can't hit it with that kind of swing where that is.
Yeah, you would think with 2 strikes now on Zambrano, he's going to make an adjustment to try and make contact and at least get the runner over second base.
Time is called by Nathan Nukunuku at second base.
Yeah, the Black Sox have a free will, the senior players in the team. If they're not happy with something they see, they have free will to call time. And Nathan would have been happy with the pitch selection that Leishut would have made behind the dish there, and he was coming in just to make sure use some of his experience to settle them down and keep them on the program of what they decided to do in the dugout.
Only 6 seconds left on the pitch clock when that was called. They go right out there again, and it's strike 3 called on John Zambrano.
I'll tell you what, Pettit just got that thing off right on the buzzer beater before the shot clock hit 0. He was very, very close with that pitch not counting and being a ball on Zambrano.
So 1 away, Lima the runner at first for the 9 batter, Edwin Linares. In the dirt, great play by Van Leeshout to keep it in front of him. And keep Lima at first. You can see on the jersey there of Linares, the wind has picked up a little bit in Whitehorse. Another drop ball outside. This is going to miss low.
Linares with plenty of flair there. Challenger's Michael Jackson through him, trying to get himself in a good frame of mind to hit this ball as far as he can.
Takes a big rip, but again, pitching off the plate, and it's interesting, the New Zealand hitters were looking for that earlier, now trying to pull off of it.
Yeah, well, different pitcher though. You know, Josh Pettit has a little bit of a bend to his drop ball, so I hope that's getting away from those Venezuelan hitters.
Same pitch, same result. Linares swings through.
Josh Pettit can keep New Zealand in the ball game here by putting up a couple of zeros. He'll be backing his teammates to peg back this lead.
That ball gets away from Van Leeshout in the dirt. Lima will move to second on the wild pitch.
As you know, Chris, this game is not over till it's over.
Never, ever, ever. Full count on Edwin Linares. Ball 4. Runners on first and second for the leadoff batter, Herwins Corrales.
I think Van Lieshout got out of jail there. It looked like he got crossed up, but he still managed to catch the ball. Josh Pettit on the hill, just forgetting maybe that the runner is on second base, and so he just needs to settle down here. It's one down. The double play gets him out of the innings.
Bunt by Corrales is foul. That'll be strike 1. Corrales led off this game with a hard single, and it's really been all Venezuela ever since. New Zealand's been scratching back. It's been a good back-and-forth game.
Yeah, well, Corrales is hitting .333 with a .364 on-base percentage, so 1 from 3 is about his MO at the moment. Surprised to actually see him in the leadoff role.
Chop foul. Pettit is ahead 0-2. Time called. We're going to get a pinch runner for Venezuela at first base. Ruben Guerrero is going to come on to run for Edwin Linares.
Venezuela has sent a ninja out to run at first base. You got to feel for them, though, right? It's like 35, 36 back in their country and coming to here to the Yukon. I know it's summertime, but it sure ain't 36.
It's summertime in air quotes, bud. Corrales again fouled straight back. Four to 2 is the score on Diamond 2, the United States leading the Dominican Republic in an important Pool B game. Pool A game, rather. This is the important Pool B game. Australia and Canada in an important Pool A game coming up next. To the screen, Pettit with a wild pitch. His second of the inning. That sends Lima to third base and the pinch runner Guerrero to second.
Pressure time here for New Zealand. Runners in scoring position 2 and 3 with only 1 out. Not the best situation for the New Zealand Black Sox. And you see the infield come in now to protect that run from third base.
1-2 is the count on Corrales. And he lifts it out over the infield. Campbell Inoka makes the catch. Lima tags, play at the plate, and sliding in safely is Jorge Lima. Sack fly, RBI for Herwins Corrales. They're going to appeal third base for leaving early. And no umpire paying attention to that appeal, so they're going to say it's good. Or are they? They're still.
Bartarello's waiting for the appeal to be heard by Lee Evans at home plate. His signal's safe now. He did tag up on the catch before coming home, but Venezuela picking up the deadly insurance run there in the top of the 6 innings. You know, New Zealand just can stop, got to stop the bleeding. They just can't allow this to happen. Venezuela are on their way to a historic victory right here this afternoon.
Iran Paez was pinch hit for another wild pitch from Pettit.
Got to say, this has got to be one of the most untidiest performances from New Zealand. The unforced errors they've conducted today, whether it's in the field or pass balls as such or choosing the wrong way to go, has been monumental. And you see Mark Sorensen coming out from the dugout to maybe talk a little bit about that and get them back on track. But, you know, you just can't do so many errors in the international game if you want to win these matchups, especially against Venezuela. They might be ranked number 7 in the world, but boy, oh boy, they pack a bigger punch than that.
And they were in the championship game a few years ago in New Zealand, championship game of the Pan American Games in 2015, losing to Canada. They've been on the up and the rise.
Come third in Saskatoon in the last cycle as well, right? So they are way better than 7th place. Don't you be surprised about that.
Paez with 1 ball. Runner on third is Guerrero. Drop ball is high. And Yetur Chirinos is on deck, so important to go after Paez here if you're Josh Pettit.
Yeah, you want to keep your foot on the pedal here if you're Venezuela. And, you know, while New Zealand are down, keep them down. If you allow New Zealand a whiff, you know, they will take full advantage of that. And they can score 4 runs in an easy piece of cake. But at the moment, you can see their body language is down, and the team are feeling it at the moment. They won't be happy because every time there's an error, they know they're a better team than that.
And we talk about it all the time. You just cannot give away outs at this level. They're hard enough to get. Swing and a miss. Rise ball outside. Paez has had 2 at-bats. He bunted back to the pitcher and struck out before Ocasio hit for him in the 5th. He re-entered defensively. Pettit gears up that rise ball, 2-2.
Yeah, Pettit knows it's really important that he gets this out and doesn't allow that runner from third base to convert here, stop the bleeding, and at least give the Black Sox a possible chance to come back.
Good restraint shown by Paez on that pitch. And it's a full count to the Venezuelan third baseman.
Just noticing the pitch selection becoming one-sided here, so 3 or 4 rise balls in a row. And
ball 4 outside.
yeah, Josh Pettit might not be happy with home plate umpire Evans, but that zone has been there the whole game. He is tight. We talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast. They knew that coming into this game, who they have behind the dish, and they need to adjust for it.
Yetur Chirinos, a single and a home run today, 2 runs scored. And some sparkling defensive play. First pitch, Chirinos leaves it up. You think he's fired up right now? Two down, runners on first and third. Chirinos lifts it out to center, but right at Campbell Anoka. So that does it for Team Venezuela in the 6th. They've scored runs in 5 of the 6 innings in this game, and they lead 7-3. 6 outs left for Team New Zealand.
Saw the 6th inning, and we had 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. For game schedules, ticket info, or other details, please visit 2017mensworldsoftball.com. Go to Twitter for current info or to follow games and plays. Updates are posted at WBSC Men 2017.
Bottom of the 6th inning here in Whitehorse. Eric Urbanea back out on the mound to work his 6th inning. And before we get started with Wayne Laulu, I want to take this time to thank our awesome crew at sportscanada.tv, our director, Adam Donnelly. The camera you're looking at right now from behind home plate, that's Jillian Landrigan. Of course, we switched as that happened to third base, Tom Malanchuk. And Elliot Goodyear is giving you the excellent shot from behind the pitcher, as you see right here. First pitch is a ball high to Laulu.
Yeah, just apologies to the viewers back home. We're just having some technical issues with the graphics at the top of the screen. So Chris and myself will do the best to keep you up to the speed, what the score is, and how many outs.
Laulu takes a drop ball, strike one. That's on the inside part of the plate. He's not too thrilled about it. 1-1. Bottom of the sixth, nobody out. Laulu is the leadoff hitter here for New Zealand. That's too low. Urbanea doesn't mind being picky with Laulu, who can lose a Worth on you pretty quick. I think we're using Worth here this week, are we? I could be wrong. Could be Rawlings. Change up from Urbanea, and Laulu twisted himself around. Strike two. 2-2 count now.
I don't know who's sponsoring the match balls, but whoever is, they're doing a fantastic job.
That's right. Whoever our official supplier is, you're doing great. Strike three, Laulu chases outside. One away, and it's a big one.
You know, Urbanea, on the back of his deceptiveness with his changeup, it just makes all his other pitches look a lot better there. And he's fooled a lot of New Zealand batters with his changeup tonight. And now you're seeing he threw something hard on the outside and catching the deadly Laulu for the first out of the innings.
Brings up Callan Campaign, and we were wrong. It's not Worth or Rawlings, it's Mizuno. So thank you to the fine folks at Mizuno. And thank you to former Team Canada player Jason Hill for chiming in and letting me know.
Got to say, Mizuno's one of the best balls I think I've ever seen.
One and one is the count, one down. Callan Campaign, who homered in his first at-bat.
Campaign, he's answered the question many times this week, and Sorensen needs him to answer something for us right here.
Popped up into shallow left field. Miscommunication. And it is caught by Herwins Corrales, the center fielder.
I tell you what, Chris, sometimes when it's your day, it's your day. Even when Venezuela gets something wrong, it comes out right. So, yeah, mix up there in the communication of who's going to get that ball, and lucky for them, it fell in the pocket of the center fielder there, Corrales.
New Zealand down to 4 outs. It's Tyrone Bartarillo.
Interesting fact here at the moment, the score might be 7-3 to Venezuela in the bottom of the sixth, but the hits are 9 each. So you eliminate those errors from the New Zealand Black Sox running game, you would have a more even scoreline. But the only person to get this back online right here is Bartarillo at the dish.
That's a ball inside, 1-1. 2 outs now, 7-3. Venezuela leading in the bottom of the sixth. There's nobody on base. First two batters, Wayne Laulu struck out. Callan Campaign flying out to Herwins Corrales in center field. Changeup, that's hit hard on the ground, and Jorge Lima tried to shovel it, and that's going to be an error on Lima, who had been perfect today until that play.
You know what, Chris, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to. Sometimes a play like that can change the momentum of a game, and Lima has been perfect up until this point. And could that be the opening or the creak in the door that allows the Black Sox to sneak on through?
They would have been out of the inning, but now it continues. And pinch hitting is Josh Harbrow.
Now, Josh Harbrow comes from Christchurch Softball Association. He's a hard-hitting, tall, right-handed hitter, and he can do everything. He's quick. He can drop it down. But when he wants to, he can pump that out of the yard.
Strike one called on Harbrow.
Harbrow, of course, coming in for a leash out at this at-bat.
Check swing roller down to Zambrano at first. That's going to do it for New Zealand in the bottom of the sixth. We're going to head to the seventh. Venezuela leading 7-3, looking to make history. Re-enter Zane Van Lieshout behind the plate to continue catching as we move to the top of the 7th inning. It'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Venezuela: Rafael Flores, Carlos Carreño, and Luigi Pinto. And keep an asterisk next to that play Carreño made off Brad Rona back in the 5th inning. Josh Pettit back out for his 2nd inning of work. Ball 1, drop ball outside. Flores chases a drop ball, 1-1.
Pettit decided to settle into his business. You can see his rhythm is there at the moment. And Venezuela haven't seen him, and they're finding it a little tough to get a hold of, especially that drop ball that bends away.
Ball 2, 2-1 to the catcher Rafael Flores. He is 0 for 3 today, reached on an error to the shortstop Evans his last time up.
Flores might be 0 for 3, but
he's now 1 for 4 as he drills one back up the box.
that's exactly what he can do. He's an elite hitter in the world, Flores. He plays with passion, and there you go. Venezuela again, leadoff runner on base.
5 of the 7 innings Venezuela have had their leadoff runner on, and it was only via the walk once. 10 hits for the Venezuelans this evening. Carreño is 0 for 2 with a walk and reached on a fielder's choice. Scored a run back in the first, made a sensational diving play to steal an extra base hit and potentially at that time a game-tying hit from Brad Rona.
Well, Carreño came in today, was hitting .778, a home run and 5 RBIs.
Laser beam down the left field line, but foul.
I'm sure the Venezuelan coach, Luis Russo, if he could get Carreño to show some of that form right here in this at-bat, that'll go a long way to putting this game to bed for Venezuela and marking that historic first victory.
The Americans leading 9-2 over the Dominican Republic. That big game for the U.S. That'll pull them into a 3-2 record and a tie with the Dominican, but they will get better seeding based on the head-to-head victory. Pettit somehow rolling into foul territory, shovels the ball to Brad Rona, and Josh Pettit, covered in chalk from the first baseline, retires Carlos Carreño.
Tell you what, there was a collision at first base. Not only did Josh Pettit make an amazing play to shovel that ball and then throw it around the runner, he also, the runner collided with Rona at first base, clipping his ankle. Very lucky not to be injured in that situation. Ripped off Rona's shoe, and he's now having to put it back on. So it's all happening here. Venezuela, they're finishing this game the way they started it, throwing everything they've got at the New Zealand Black Sox.
And we saw after as well, I don't know if our cameras caught it, I was watching here live, Rafael Flores went up to Josh Pettit once time was called and asked if he was okay. So good sportsmanship.
Yeah, he is. I've got to say that about Flores. He's a showman for sure, but he definitely tends to have the heart in the right place.
Luigi Pinto, 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. And a big run out there in Rafael Flores right now.
New Zealand really can't afford to allow another run in here. If you have any chance to win this ball game, they need to put up a 0.
That pitch misses from Pettit. Looking ahead, Venezuela's remaining games are against Botswana and Great Britain, 2 games that they should win. So this very well could be a game for first place in Pool B. And if the Black Sox were to lose, it could very well set up a first-round playoff matchup with the Canadians.
You're correct. It definitely is. And don't get me wrong, because Botswana have played outstanding here this week, and they definitely have a chance against Venezuela. But they would have to do what Venezuela did today, play the most amazing game they ever did, and Venezuela would have to be littered with errors.
High pop fly to center field. Campbell Inoka finds it. Flores fakes the tag. I don't think anyone thought he was actually going, even Flores with a big smile.
Yeah, that's the Venezuelan flair out there, isn't it? They come to play hard, but they also like to have a lot of fun. And Flores is definitely one of those characters. He entertains the crowd, and he's got the mohawk going, and he's dyed everything up like the Puerto Rican baseball team.
He's dyed what he's got left, anyhow.
He's got more than me.
And me, too, so I can't make a comment. 2-out catcher roll is the delay right now as Luigi Pinto comes out to run. And Jorge Lima is due up. New Zealand looking into the bench, wondering if they should walk Lima to get to Zambrano. Lima's 3 for 3 today with 3 RBIs and 3 runs scored.
You just picked it. It's 2 down now, and New Zealand's going to start utilizing some of that experience they've gathered over many years, and knowing when to throw to a guy and when not to throw to a guy. And Lima is red hot. And I think if they pitch to him, they're going to pay for it.
And Zambrano, conversely, is 1 for 3, singled way back in the second. But Pettit made him look a little bit silly last inning with the strikeouts. So I think Sorensen might be out of defensive conferences as we speak right now.
I think they're asking the question here, is the free pass to first base, do they need to throw those balls, or is it just a free pass? New Zealand haven't done one of these this tournament yet, so they're testing the waters to see what they want to do, and or maybe you never know, there is the case. There you go, off he goes. Cooler heads prevail. It does put an extra runner on the base pass and bigs up the big guy, Zambrano, up to bat. But when Lima's hot like that,
yeah, for me right there, you've got 2 out now. You're putting the force on, and you're bringing up a hitter that is not Jorge Lima, who's been on fire or on fuego today.
car pie, brother, car pie.
But when you walk somebody to get to you, there's a little extra fire in the belly for John Zambrano right now.
We saw Zambrano's last at bat. He was trying to get the insurance runs then, and he was swinging off his hoofs, and now he's in a better situation. He knows he's going to come straight at him.
He was chasing that outside drop ball last time. Now they're coming back in. And they cross him up. Strike called.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why they did that there, didn't they? And Zambrano was thinking, they're going outside on me again. And now he doesn't know which side of the plate they're going to go, and he's in a far better situation.
Yeah, and that is the worst position to be in as a hitter, where you're just protecting. Down 0-2, and you really have no idea what they're going to do to you.
Start outside, come in, work your way down the zone.
They go way out. Hit the spot, but Van Leishout was in the other batter's box.
You can feel the tension in the grandstand at the moment. You know, they know they're witnessing a very special game here for Venezuela, and they've got an opportunity to make something historic this afternoon.
Zambrano goes down on strikes.
So Pettit gives New Zealand the chance here, at least a possible chance, only being 4 runs back, but with only 3 outs.
We've seen it done before. Will we see it today? Is it history for Venezuela or a monster comeback for the New Zealanders? We'll find out.
You can skip the hassle of looking for a parking spot at the park. There's a free shuttle from several different hotels downtown to the Pep WBSC Softball Center. For the locations and shuttle schedules, check out 2017mensworldsoftball.com under visitors. And we'd like to thank Mizuno for their support of the World Baseball Softball Confederation. Mizuno is an official supplier of the WBSC and the Men's World Championship. Leading off for the home team New Zealand, wearing number 25 is the center
So it's
fielder.
Campbell Inoka, the center fielder. Singled and scored his last time around, 9-1-2. So if you're New Zealand, this is where you want to be. You've got to score 4 runs. If you can get it down to Rona and Laulu, you've already done something right. Change up inside from Eric Urbanea is called strike.
Urbanea choosing the change up first up. Clever man. They're chasing runs. I'll take the pace off the ball. You provide the power.
Urbanea has given up 9 hits today, but a lot of them coming early in the game. And as you mentioned, Chopper, New Zealand running themselves out of runs early.
Yeah, yes, they have. And look, I really can't go past Flores in this instance. He's been clever there with his arm. But also, you know, these pitches that are coming down there, they're all his decision. He decides what pitch goes down. Urbanea is an instrument or tool of his.
Campbell Inoka lifts it deep, and Carreño was frozen in his tracks for a moment, but then reaches up and makes the play. 1 away.
Carreño is having a day out there. Boy, oh boy, came in, almost got caught out there, but got back, jumped up, and the smile on the face tells the story. Another out for Venezuela, 2 outs away from a very historic win.
Ball 1 to the leadoff batter, Cole Evans.
I think there's a good chance you might see the most percentage of change-ups and innings from Ubania here right here.
New Zealand is the #1 ranked team in the world for a reason. Until it's over, this is not over.
I'm in your corner, Chris. I'd love to see a great comeback here. I've got to say Venezuela have played outstanding today.
Couple of errors along the way, 2 in the field, but the more sparkling plays than mistakes. Four-pitch walk to Evans, and there's life for the Black Sox.
That's exactly what you don't do when you've got a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 7th innings with 1 out, and that's giving someone a free pass to first base, especially if that means you're bringing up one of the hottest hitters in this tournament, Nathan Nukunuku, to the plate.
Tripled last time up for Nukunuku, a single in the 3rd, 2 home runs earlier today against Japan. And this is exactly what Mark Sorensen needs, and now it's just about passing the baton. Nukunuku swings at the first pitch. It's skied high. Linares coming in, and he'll call off Lima to make the catch.
Nukunuku putting a charge into that one, but just getting underneath it. And the right fielder there, Linares, making a long run. And he can do as Michael Jackson as much as you like when he takes that ball with 2 hands for the 2nd out of the ball game.
Well, if you remember, it was Linares who was the victim of the stinging line drive from Nukunuku last time, so a little bit of retribution. Now down to their last out. It's Thomas Inoka against Eric Urbanea. Off-speed changeup, curveball, drop ball in for a strike.
Flores back there underneath the mask. He'll be breathing in his nose, out his mouth. His heart will be pumping. He knows they're only 1 out away from the most historic win in their national program.
It's over. Ground ball to Chirinos at short. He flips it on to Jorge Lima. And from almost not making it to Whitehorse, Venezuela are in position to win the B pool. A 7-3 victory, the first time ever that Team Venezuela has defeated Team New Zealand.
Take your hat off to Venezuela right there. They played a heck of a ball game with very few blemishes in the field or with the batter's box. They came out from the get-go being attacking. They scored in almost every single innings, and not many teams can accomplish that against the New Zealand Black Sox team. And the New Zealand Black Sox will be the first to tip their cap to Venezuela and say, well done, chaps. You played well today. Today you were the better team on the diamond.
And they were. And now they will relax for the rest of the night. 2 round-robin days left here for both of these teams. Back in action tomorrow. First up between New Zealand and Denmark at 3 p.m. And Venezuela tomorrow will play early against Botswana. And if they win that game, they've all but guaranteed first place in the pool. You've been watching Sports Canada TV's coverage in association with Ballpark Broadcasting. But before we go, Jason, who is today's Ballpark Broadcasting Player of the Game?
Yeah, great to put me on the spot there. I guess we got to go with Lima. He was red hot today in the batter's box, and I would also like to give a mention at least to Ibanez and Flores. Their input to this game was instrumental to their success, but Lima's elite fielding at second base and the way that he drove the ball today, in my mind, he gets the player of the game.
3 for 3, Jorge Lima, 2 singles, a 2-run home run, and an RBI to go with it. 3 runs scored. This was game number 38 on day number 5. Thank you, folks, for tuning in with us. We have every pitch of every inning, 76 games through the